Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ugly Dojo. This is yours truly, Esteban Baez, with another message from the Ruck Walk. That's right, we're going to be rucking. Rucking is walking with weight on your back. Today, I'm carrying 30 pounds of weight, and I'm really excited about, we're going to go camping for the next actually it's gonna be about 6 days. Almost a week. We're gonna be camping it out. So welcome everybody, welcome to the Ugly Dojo. If this is your first time here, UGLY stands for Unleash Your Greatness and Love Yourself. I use it as an acronym. And the goal is to get 20 minutes in of rucking every single day. I'm 47. And I wanna make sure that as I enter into this phase of my life, our kids are getting older, we're becoming empty nesters here in our house, and I wanna make sure that I maintain a level of health so that I can preserve my mobility as much as possible. So that is my objective. This is why we do this every single day. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer here. This is just a 20-minute walk. We're gonna make it happen. And I got a message for you today. So today's message is, people pleasing is not kindness. People pleasing is not kindness. And I imagine that this might be a bit controversial, but that's okay. We welcome disagreements. So if you disagree with anything I said, that's cool. Respectfully, as long as you respectfully disagree, we can handle it. We hold space here at the Ugly Dojo. We can handle disagreements. I don't expect everybody to agree with my perspectives, but people pleasing is not kindness. That's the message for today. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let me make sure that my walk is started on my watch, and we're connecting. Here we are. People pleasing is not kindness. Let's define the two terms. People pleasing. Usually, the term is identified with someone that is kind. Oh, he is pleasant, or she is a pleasant person, right? Pleasing is usually associated with kindness. But people pleasing is not kindness. What I mean by that, and kindness simply means someone who has a giving heart, someone who's generous, someone who is, when I think of the opposite of kindness, is unkind, not nice. Someone that is not a nice person to be around. Someone who, when they enter the room, there's this cloud of darkness and they bring in negative vibration, negative energy, unpleasant. You do not want to be in that room for too long, because that person or that energy that's carrying those frequencies around them, they just don't feel good. It's the opposite of joy. It's the opposite of happiness. It's the opposite of excitement. It's the opposite of love, right? So kindness is usually associated with someone who's joyful, who's happy, who's pleasant to be around. Now, this term or this idea that I'm bringing on today is people pleasing is not kindness. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When you are a people pleaser, it usually means that you have to be unkind to someone in order for the other person to receive your kindness. So when you're labeled, or if you've labeled yourself as a people pleaser, what that usually means is that you put your needs above the other people. They are more important than you. And if you put other people's needs, right, above your own needs, sacrificing yourself for the well-being of others, and your well-being is You're putting your well-being at risk, right? And you constantly do this, right? This is your modus operandum. I don't know if I even said that right, but your way of being, where you seek to please everyone else, and you have no more room, no more space for you. And then one day you wake up and you say, you know what, it would be nice if someone would cater to my needs today. And when you try to do that, no one shows up for you. Because there's this thing, this law, universal law, that we teach others how to treat us. We treat people how to treat us. When you treat others, you teach others how to treat you. You're teaching them. And if you're the person that's always bailing somebody out, if you're the person that's always giving to someone else, but they don't reciprocate that, they feel that's the relationship, that they're in this relationship to get something out of you. They're here to get your kindness, and they don't feel that they necessarily have to deliver that kindness in return back to you. So people pleasing is not kindness. What would be a healthy way, right? What would be the healthy thing here? Instead of people pleasing, what would be the healthy thing? Something's going on in the neighborhood, by the way, so I'm a little distracted because, I don't know, a lot of cars parked around here. It looks like there's something going on in the neighborhood. Not sure what it is, but there's a lot of cars. So they party. Who knows? So back to what I was saying. The opposite of people pleasing is being pleasant, being kind. That's it. Be kind, be pleasant, but do not be people pleasing. People pleasing, that term means that you are basically making yourself the servant of others at the expense of your well-being. Listen to what I just said. You're making yourself the servant of others at the expense of your own personal mental well-being, physical well-being, financial well-being. You are risking it all for them. And when you do it, you're not doing it because you're being kind. Here's the thing that matters the most. You're being people-pleasing because you want something in return. You want something in return. You want them to like you. You want them to love you. And your hunger for acceptance is the driving force that's causing you to behave in this manner. You want them to like you. You want them to love you, that you're willing to risk your personal wellness, your mental health, your physical health, your resources, your money, in exchange for their love, in exchange for their validation, in exchange for acceptance. So I have a question for you. Do you think that's right? Do you think that's healthy? Do you think it's right and healthy for you to look out for others while harming yourself? Do you think that's healthy? Do you think that's what your, I don't know, what your spirit, right, is asking you to do all the time for other people? Do you believe that is healthy? Do you believe that is something that can help you grow? Some people say, I'm altruistic. I don't want nothing in return. I do it because I love them. I people please because I love them. I people please. I don't want them to love me back. I'm altruistic. That's very different, by the way. That's not being people pleasing. If you're doing something for the well-being of others, because you have the capacity to do it, and you're not looking for something in return, that's not people pleasing. That's called being a giver. And there's a lot of healthy, good humans out there that give because they have the capacity to do so, and they're not expecting anything in return from you. That's very different than being a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser to me means that you're doing things in exchange for something. You're doing it in exchange for love. You're doing it in exchange for validation. You're doing it in exchange for acceptance. That's people pleasing. What's the opposite of that? Being pleasant. You can be pleasant and say no. See, people pleasers have a very hard time saying no, and they can be manipulated. Why? Because they're doing the pleasing, not because they have the capacity to give. Many times they don't even have the capacity and the ability to give what they're giving, but they do it in hopes of maybe if I give this to this person, they'll finally be my boyfriend or my girlfriend. Maybe if I give this to this person, they'll finally get engaged to me. Maybe if I give this thing to a person, right? Maybe then they'll love me and accept me. And those are the things that's what I mean by people pleasing, right? Is there a party going on or something?
A funeral.
Oh, it's a funeral. Okay. Man, there's a funeral going on. Somebody passed away. That's what's happening. Man, in 2026, if you're still living in 2026, be grateful, be thankful for what you have. Life is a gift. And it is such a waste for you to be, specifically in your older years, behaving in this toxic manner. I really believe people-pleasing behavior is very toxic. And it's also very manipulative. A lot of people don't talk about the hidden intent behind being a people pleaser, right? The hidden intent. When you have this people-pleasing persona, there's an intent around your giving, and it's very selfish. You want them to, in return, give you the thing that you should give yourself, and that is acceptance. You should not seek for acceptance outside of yourself. In fact, to get acceptance from others, you have to learn to accept who you are, and you have to learn to love yourself first so that others will love you. And you don't have to do this manipulating strategy of being Mr. Nice persona or Mrs. Nice persona. I am the nicest person. I can outgive anybody here because I'm so nice. And in reality, you want recognition for everything that you're doing. That's what I mean by people pleasing. And people pleasing is a toxic, in my book, in the book of the Ugly Dojo, it's one of the toxic behaviors that we need healing from. If you, by the way, I'm the first one to raise my hand and admit publicly here on this channel, that was my way of being for many of my younger years. And even in my 20s and in my 30s, I was a huge people pleaser. And I seek for validation and approval outside of myself. I wanted people to like me and to love me. I was a performer. I would, whatever you needed me to be, I would be, right? If you needed me to act, I would act. If you needed me, whatever you needed that I believe could get me approval from you, I would do it. It's very manipulative. And this is what a lot of people don't mention and talk about when they say or think that people-pleasing behavior is this great thing. Because think about it, you please others, what's wrong about that? It's the intent that comes behind it. Because pleasing a loved one, there's nothing wrong with pleasing a loved one or even a stranger if you're not harming yourself in the process. And this is what's harmful about people pleasing, is you are expecting something from someone. There is an unconscious contract that you're trying to make with the other party that they don't even know about. So it's not even fair to them, because you're basically saying, fine, I'll lend you the money. Let's just say it's a money situation. You don't have the money, but they're saying, man, I'm really stuck. I really need financial help. Please help me out. And you say, I don't have the money either, but you know what? Maybe I can find it. And then you go out of your way. You put yourself in hardship to bail your loved one out, right? And you give them, you basically give them the money that you didn't have, right? But there was an unconscious exchange. Would you love me? Would you accept me? Would you be nice to me in return? When I need something, will you be there for me? And that's usually not communicated up front. It is an unconscious contract, which is where the term people-pleasing or pushover was created, comes from. If you're a pushover, a people-pleaser, remember that it is not kindness. It's not kindness to them when you make an unconscious agreement, expecting them to validate you and your feelings. That is no one's job but yourself. That is a job that belongs to you. It doesn't belong to them, because you know who you are. Being true to yourself is the only thing that you can do. It's not something that you can delegate, like exercise. Being true to yourself has to do with your feelings, your emotions, your values, your core values. And putting that on someone else without making a conscious agreement and saying, hey, I need your support. I need you to help. It's not a conscious agreement. It's not healthy. It's toxic. So that is the message for today. People pleasing is not kindness. Kindness is kindness, right? And being true to yourself is kindness. And self-betrayal is not kindness. When you betray yourself to please other people and to look out for them with hopes that they'll do something for you, that is not kindness. Look who's here, everybody. My parents are here. This is my dad. There's my dad. That's right, Ugly Samurai, Ugly Dojo. Oh, he's wearing the Ugly Dojo. Look at that, everybody. He's wearing it. Let's go. Let's go. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in today. I'll catch you on the next Rock Walk. And with that said, remember, we're all in this journey together. So journey well and stay curious.